all these kids that have been playing those games and playing war games and internet games, they've been being rewarded in digital money in that game. They have their own digital currency like Monopoly money. And if you're really good, you got big bonuses and you could upgrade and buy more software.
That's a great point. Now, people are concerned that Bitcoin and Ethereum has fallen off their highs, but when you look at the price, it's still very high, right? It's still, should people be worried at this point?
No, I think we've seen this incredible volatility when something is disruptive. Think about Tesla. Tesla has the same DNA volatility as Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah.
In fact, Ethereum is more volatile than Bitcoin, like silver is more volatile than gold. But whenever something is disruptive and it's like digital money is coming into the market stream and in full throttle this past year, it's going to have all these naysayers and early adopters. So we have seen now the gold market, come through a correction here, and everyone's focused on Ethereum and Bitcoin. I say that both are incredible alternative asset classes. But this flash crash in Ethereum happened a little over a year ago when Ethereum surged to 300, fell to 100, came right back up to 200, and sort of went sideways before it went on to these other levels.
Okay, now let's talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum now. I know you've done a lot of research on the relationship between these two cryptocurrencies. I'm looking at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart as a ratio. It spiked earlier in the year with Ethereum going way up, and now it's actually coming back down to historical averages. So it's more or less normalized to the average. From here, do you see Ethereum continue to outperform Bitcoin?
I do, because they're very different, David. You've got to look at the industrial. So when we talk about silver, it has much bigger industrial footprint because of solar panels. Well, when it comes to Ethereum, it's a smart contract. So when you hear about JP Morgan stable coin or other people coming with these stable coins, they basically are using Ethereum algorithm. That is a pent up demand. And now we have this explosion in decentralized finance known as DeFi. Last year grew by 20 billion. I think in the first month of this year it was 30 billion. It's all in the backbone of Ethereum. So Ethereum is a unique animal in its own way. It's the second biggest market cap and most liquid cryptocurrency. But I think Bitcoin is like the collector's item. It's like, for me, the Andy Warhol original paintings. It's going to go up in value as more people come in and buy it. They can buy in fractals. And we're seeing that in what's called Metcalfe's Law.
Yeah.
Metcalfe's Law explains why you're seeing this rise in crypto.
It's very interesting that you compared it to an Andy Warhol piece of work. And I had this discussion with an analyst last week about the valuations of cryptocurrencies, and the conclusion was that, look, it's very difficult to value something that doesn't generate any cash flow. It's ultimately based on market perception. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you think Andy Warhol is worthless, you're going to pay $0 for it. Likewise, if you think Bitcoin is worthless, you're going to pay $0 for it. So why is Bitcoin worth $48,000 in the eyes of the beholder, so to speak? Can you give an explanation?
And Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, doesn't buy Andy Warhols, and he doesn't like Bitcoin. So what does that mean? Whereas friends of mine have bought the prints for $10,000, I've seen their mouth go up to $250,000. So, I don't want to get into that basic what's good or bad. If you like Warhol art, and Metcalfe's Law will prevail there too. So I think it's just a side story. What's really important, and we saw this happen last year in GameStop, all these kids that have been playing those games and playing war games and internet games, they've been being rewarded in digital money in that game. They have their own digital currency like Monopoly money. And if you're really good, you got big bonuses and you could upgrade and buy more software. Well, we have all these Generation X and millennials that are used to going to GameStop to buy their equipment, or they've been going on the internet. They're very quick to buy into the concept of digital money, DeFi finance, because they're used to it. And I think that when we heard all this drama over GameStop, well, all these kids that were trading the stock were also buyers, just like people that bought Starbucks went and bought Starbucks coffee every day.
Yeah. When you look at Satoshi's white paper, The Origins of Bitcoin, and the original protocols for Bitcoin, were you surprised that it's become more of an asset for speculation over time?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's a remarkable piece of engineering, but really it's on the backbone of telecom. Blockchain really came out in the early 90s before the internet was released. And it's because the banks actually are the biggest movers of money? Not. It's telecom companies that do all the wiring between. And then the idea was, could they create a blockchain, a ledger, this open ledger to be able to track everything? This concept that Satoshi basically took was already there and polished it up to create decentralized finance, as just the same as a lot of gold bugs don't like central banks printing all this money, practicing MMT. The new world, the new millennials, etc., were addicted to this digital world, and that's why it grew. And we can see this past year what happened when the supply halved for Bitcoin, and that only took 6 months, and all of a sudden prices doubled and tripled. So I remain very bullish, but they're going to be extremely volatile.
Does that, what you just said, it's a great bullish case, does that at all concern you in any way, that it's mainly driven by younger investors, like you said, herding into the space?
No, because they can speculate. They're a young person. It's my age that should be careful of the great speculation. A younger person, they've got 40, 50 years in front of them. As you get older, you should tone down your speculation. And one of the reasons I was trying to launch an ETF in the space and I wasn't going nowhere. So that was the whole creation, the concept, when I got invited to participate and became a principal co-founder of High Blockchain Technology, which was the first public company mining Ethereum and then Bitcoin in the Canadian capital markets. And it attracted $1 billion of US money managers going into Canada to participate in other blockchain companies.
Yeah. Well, you have some good news to share with us about Hive, but just a minute now. Last question about the markets. You mentioned that these kids are speculating. Well, when they get older, Frank, when they become close to retirement age and they don't want to speculate in volatile assets anymore, would they be dumping their Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then the biggest holders would then release them into the markets and we'll have a big sell-off?
I don't know. It's like asking me, when the internet first came out, is Ask Jeeves, is he still going to be around? He's history. It evolved, and then Google, and then Yahoo was first, and then Google turned around and basically, as they like to say, Uberized Yahoo.
Yeah.
I think that it's early innings in this digital world, and I think it's only going to grow. It's going to remain extremely volatile. We saw that now on PayPal, you can buy Bitcoin. If you go to some of these websites, in particular in stocks, you can go to Robinhood and you can buy Bitcoin. So it's a big game changer what's going on in the capital markets.